Welcome to part 1 of the best 50 next-gen wonder kids to sign for your EAFC 24 career mode. Today we're going to be counting down from 50 down to 25, and part 2 will be coming out on Thursday, so make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out. So getting straight into it, at number 50 we've got WONDERKIDS, formerly of Fenerbahce, currently of Real Madrid. WONDERKIDS was dubbed the Turkish Messi in his homeland, and he's been touted for the top of the game for a number of years. He's shown exactly why since he broke into the Fenerbahce team in the summer of 2021. He's the youngest goal scorer in the club's history. He possesses a dribbling ability and close control that few can match, and while his eye for a spectacular has always marked him out as a special talent. The 18-year-old attacking midfielder is already a full Turkey international after making his debut in November last year, and the likes of Arsenal, Barcelona and Bayern Munich, they were all interested, but he's decided to sign for Real Madrid. Next up, we've got two Brazilians for you, with a Brazilian league not in FIFA 23 last year. I haven't got access to them in the transfer market. So on the left, we've got André Santos, just signed for Chelsea, and Chelsea's policy of spending big to secure some of the world's most exciting talents, it's made headlines over the last 6-7 months, but the decision to bring in André from Stamford Bridge, it's likely to age very well. The Blues beat off interest from Barcelona to sign the 18-year-old in January, paying an initial $13 million to Vasco da Gama after the midfielder's breakout season in the Brazilian second division. He's been nicknamed the Brazilian Busquets, and André showed he's more than just your average defensive midfielder when he captained Brazil to the recent Under-20 South American Championship title, and he also finished the tournament as a joint top scorer with 6 goals. On your right hand side, we've got another Chelsea prospect. He's been signed from Santos this time, and not many players can claim to have made the Santos debut at a younger age than the great Pelé. But when Angelo stepped off the bench to make his professional bout as a 15-year-old in October 2020, he did just that. He's now 18 and a veteran of over 100 first-team matches for Santos, and he's developed into one of Brazil's finest young players, leading the likes of Barcelona and Newcastle, who were also interested in him, as well as Chelsea. He's the youngest goal scorer in the history of the Copa Libertadores, and he's most comfortable when he cuts inside from the right. Heading back to England now, and in 47, we've got Stefan Bajcetic. So with Liverpool's midfield crying out for an injection of energy and quality last season, Bajcetic stepped up in a big way before he got his injury, and he became almost an automatic selection for Jurgen Klopp's side. The 18-year-old whom the Reds beat Manchester United to sign from Celta Vigo in December 2020 has shown an ability to combine excellent defensive instincts with a confidence in possession that belies his lack of experience. Mohamed Salah recently labelled Bajcetic as Liverpool's best player during a difficult run around the turn of the year, and despite having suffered a season-ending injury, it would be a surprise if he doesn't play a massive part in Liverpool's upcoming season. And coming in at number 47 with his flaming red hair, we've got Valentin Barco. Now, it's not difficult to notice Barco when he's on the pitch, but even without his physical characteristics, the left-back is able to stand out with the way he performs with the ball at his feet. The 4th youngest player to ever debut for Boca Juniors, the 18-year-old, he was discovered by the same scout who first spotted the likes of Carlos Tevez and Joan Roman Riquelme, and Barco looks set to follow in their footsteps at the top of the game. Man City continue to show an interest in signing the teenager, while Juventus have also been linked as a battle for one of South America's brightest young talent begins to heat up. Off to France now, and Monaco to be exact, and we've got Elias Ben-Seguir. So ahead of Monaco's first League One match after the World Cup last year, Ben-Seguir had played just a solitary minute of first-team football, a substitute in the Europa League. But anyone who watched his appearance off the bench against Auxerre would never have known, as the attacking midfielder took the game by the scruff of the neck, scoring 2 stunning goals on his domestic debut to seal a 3-2 victory. Not since Thierry Henry burst onto the scene as a player so young netted twice for Monaco, and the 18-year-old, he was a regular starter ever since, with his quick feet and an eye for a pass, marking him out as yet another special French talent. Staying in France now, heading over to Paris Saint-Germain, and we've got El Shaddai Bitsouabou. So PSG, they don't have the greatest record when it comes to keeping hold of their exciting academy players. They certainly know how to nurture talent, and Bitsouabou's development is a perfect illustration of that. Always at physical advantage during his youth career due to his height, he currently stands at 6'6", and he's 17 years old. He's shown improvements in his ability on the ball that suggest he's going to become a top-class centre-back. Batshuayi broke Kingsley Coleman's record as PSG's youngest ever player when he debuted in December 21, and he played a key role in France winning the Under-17 European Championship the following year. Which takes us over to Real Madrid now, and it's Iker Bravo. So it's rare for a player to have represented both Barcelona and Real Madrid before their 18th birthday, but that's exactly what Bravo's done after a whirlwind few years. The Spain youth international is regarded as the best number 9 prospect at La Masia when he decided to leave Barca for Bayer Leverkusen in the summer of 21. But after briefly holding the record as the German club's youngest ever player, he was allowed to leave on loan a year later. Madrid jumped at the chance to get one over their old rivals and welcomed Bravo into the Castilla squad, for whom he's been a regular in the Spanish third division this season. Real Madrid did make this move permanent by paying €6 million to Bayer Leverkusen. Moving on, and we're taking you now to Brighton, home of the South American. It's Facundo Buonanotte. So Buonanotte became the latest South American talent to be snapped up by Brighton in January, and the Seagulls paid over $5 million up front to bring the attacking midfielder to the Amex Stadium, and Buonanotte has already made his Premier League debut for De Zerbi's side. The 18-year-old is regarded as a long-term successor for his compatriot Alexis McAllister, who has left Brighton and joined Liverpool this summer. But in the years to come, it's likely they'll be fighting it out for a place in the national team of Argentina. And now we take a look at another wonder kid currently playing his trade at Borussia Dortmund, and he left Man City's academy to join Dortmund. It's Jamie Bino Gittens. So he's sort of followed in the footsteps of former NXGN winger Jadon Sancho, so why shouldn't it work for another English winger? Bino Gittens moved to Germany in 2020, and though injuries limited his impact during the first 2 seasons, the 18-year-old is now a key member of the first team squad, and he's already scored a number of key Bundesliga goals for them. He was also an important player for England's Under-19 European Championship winning side in the summer of 2022 with his pace and trickery while cutting inside from the left, making him a nightmare for opposing defences. Next up, we've got Valentin Carbone. So he's been likened to Paulo Dybala, and Carbone broke into the Inter Milan first team this season, having rejected approaches from Liverpool and Juventus to join the Nerazzurri in 2020. The 18-year-old forward impressed within the youth ranks in Milan, and he's already played in both Serie A and the Champions League, as well as having earned a call up to train with the senior Argentina squad. The World Cup holders are confident of convincing Carbone to represent them after he previously played for Italy's age group teams, and securing his international future would be a coup for the South American giant. Next up, we've got FIFA career mode favourite. It's Mohamed Ali Cho, and he spent time in both Paris Saint-Germain and Everton's academies as his family moved between France and England. But Cho broke out at Angers in League One. His form earned him a call-up to the French Under-21 squad, having previously represented England, and an $11 million move to Real Sociedad developed over the summer of 2022. Capable of playing anywhere across the forward line, the 19-year-old has struggled with injuries since arriving in Spain, but when he has been available, he's shown why La Real were so keen to bring him to La Liga. And heading back to Liverpool now, and this guy is possibly one of the brightest talents in world football today. He's been hailed as a natural force by Jurgen Klopp, and it's Ben Doak. So Doak wasted little time in making an impact at Liverpool, having joined the Reds from Celtic in a $600,000 deal over the summer of 22. The 17-year-old winger has been likened to Wayne Rooney due to his aggression and physicality when in possession. He's already become the youngest Scot to appear in the Premier League, and he's an under-21 international. Well, he currently has the likes of Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz ahead of him in the pecking order at Anfield. It won't be long before Doak is pushing Liverpool's established forwards for a starting berth. Back to France now, and one of my favourite players is Désiré Doué from Rennes. So a key member of France's Under-17 European Championship winning team in 22, Doué has carried the form he showed in that tournament into his first campaign as a regular in the Rennes team. The academy that produced the likes of Eduardo Camavinga and Ousmane Dembele certainly seems to have done it again with Doué. He became the first player born in 2005 to score in one of Europe's Big Five leagues back in September. The 17-year-old centre midfielder has since opened his account in the Europa League too, and Newcastle are among the clubs to be showing an interest in signing him over the next 12 to 18 months. Back to the Brazilian league now, and I'm sure you've all heard this name. It's Real Madrid's latest signing, it's Endrick. So ever since clips of him dominating Brazil's prestigious under-20 Copinha as a 15-year-old went viral in January 22, the race to sign Endrick, it grew more and more intense among Europe's elite clubs. Obviously, Real Madrid beat off competition from Barcelona, Chelsea, PSG, a host of top clubs, and they agreed to pay Palmeiras up to €60 million to sign the forward, who is regarded as the best talent to emerge since Neymar. The 16-year-old will have to wait another 6 months to move to Spain, but having scored 3 goals in his first 7 top-flight games, expect Endrick to keep burgeoning his growing reputation in the meantime. And back to Brighton now for another one of the Wonder Kids. We've been crying out for a consistent striker since the promotion to the Premier League, but early signs suggest that they may have found a man in Evan Ferguson. The 18-year-old became the youngest player since 2009 to score in back-to-back Premier League matches earlier this season, with his strength and finishing ability allowing him to translate excellent youth team performances to the senior level. Already a full Republic of Ireland international, Ferguson rejected Liverpool when he decided to move to England, and Brighton are already reaping the rewards of being able to secure a top teenage talent. Back to Spain, and its Arsenal target, it's Ivan Fresneda of Real Valladolid. So given the speculation that surrounded Fresneda during the January transfer window, it's amazing that he actually remains a Valladolid player, but it's unlikely to last much longer. The right back was linked with a host of top clubs including Arsenal, Real Madrid, Dortmund, and reports suggested that the 18-year-old could cost up to €30 million to prize away from the Spanish strugglers. He will, however, most likely move on this summer, with his new club set to inherit a player who particularly caught the eye when he was able to shut down Vinicius Jr. when Valladolid took on Real Madrid in December. And next up, we've got one of the brightest talents in world football today. Ignore the Juventus kit, he's moved on my career mode. Don't worry about that, he is still playing for Barcelona. And look, Barcelona are used to producing world-class talents within the famed La Masia Academy, but even they have outdone themselves when it comes to Gavi. The midfielder is still only 18, but he's already a veteran of over 80 appearances for one of world football's biggest clubs. With his combative nature and exceptional ball control ensuring that he's bridged the gap from youth team football to the elite with ease. The youngest player to ever represent Spain, Gavi became the third youngest to ever score at a World Cup for any nation when he netted against Costa Rica in November. Well, that is likely to be just the start of him making a regular impact on major international tournaments. And this time we're heading over to Manchester United, and nothing illustrates the popularity that Alejandro Garnacho has among Man United supporters more than the fact that the Old Trafford faithful have replaced Cristiano Ronaldo's name with the teenagers in the famous Viva Ronaldo chant. The 18-year-old who joined United from Atletico Madrid in 2020, he was the star of the club's FA Youth Cup winning side last season, and he's carried that form into the first team as he continues to make his mark under Erik ten Hag. He's a tricky winger who's most at home cutting inside from the left, and Garnacho represented Spain at youth level but has since been called up to the senior Argentina squad. It's expected that he'll make his Argentina bout in the not too distant future. Back to Paris Saint-Germain now, and we've got Ismail Garbi. So a technically gifted number 10, Garbi first came to prominence when he was spotted outshining some of PSG's more senior squad members during an open training session that was designed to give the media a chance to watch Lionel Messi in Paris for the first time. Garbi still has some way to go to reach the levels of a legendary Argentine, but his early performances in the first team at Parc des Princes suggest he's set for a long career at the top. The 18-year-old who recently switched international allegiance from France to Spain has previously been of interest to both Liverpool, Chelsea, and if opportunities remain hard to come by at PSG in the coming years, then there will be a long line of clubs willing to take him off their hands. Back to England now, and it's Chelsea's homegrown talent, Lewis Hall. So Premier League supporters have seen Hall emerge as an energetic left-back over the past few months at Chelsea, but it's actually in centre midfield where the 18-year-old is most comfortable. That versatility is perhaps Hall's greatest asset, meaning he's been able to play with confidence that bellies his years in a variety of roles when given opportunities by both Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, and now Mauricio Pochettino. There have been some concerns that the Blues' lavish spending could lead to a pathway from academy to first team at Stamford Bridge being blocked, but Hall has shown he's good enough to become a regular contributor over the next few years at least. And next up, we've got one of my favourite teams, it's Ajax, and we're looking at Jarell Hator. So not since Matthias de Ligt was coming through ranks at Ajax has there been this much excitement around a homegrown defender. But Hato's showing that he has the talent to one day generate the same transfer fee as Bayern Munich's 67 million signing. Despite only having turned 17 in March, Hato's already captained Ajax's under-19s this season and is a regular in the Dutch champions matchday squad after becoming the third youngest player to ever make the first team debut for the club. Extremely comfortable in possession for a central defender, Hato can also play at left back, and it should not be long before he becomes the next academy talent to make Ajax millions when Europe's richest clubs come knocking. In 28th place, and I know I'm going to struggle with this name, it's Abdul Fatawu Isahaku. Plays for Sporting Lisbon. I'm not going to say that name again. He was just 16-year-old when he was named player of the tournament at the Under-20 African Cup of Nations in 21. As a series of outrageous long-range goals capped some remarkable performances by the Ghanaian forward. He's now 18 and he's in the midst of his first European season, having joined Sporting around a year ago and having been previously linked again with Liverpool and this time Bayer Leverkusen. He was also part of the Ghana squad at the 2022 World Cup and he's regarded by many as perhaps the most talented African player of his generation, given the ability he possesses in his rocket of a left foot. And we're on to the penultimate wonder kid of this video, and Almeria pulled off something of a coup when he completed the €7 million signing of Kai. They brought him in the summer of 2022 with a newly promoted La Liga side beating the likes of Barcelona to the centre-back signature. Kai had become a regular starter for Santos for around a year before his move to Europe, earning comparisons with compatriot Marquinhos in his native Brazil. The 19-year-old has settled well in Europe too, and though not always a starter in Spain, he made a solid contribution towards his club's bid to survive in the top flight last year. And finally, coming in at number 26 of part 1 of the Next Gen Wonderkids to sign for your EAFC 24 career mode, we've got Red Bull Salzburg's Dejan Kamari. The star of Salzburg's run to the final of the 21-22 UEFA Youth League final, Kamari's now made the transition from academy star to first team contributor at the Austrian champion. The attacking midfielder, he's been compared by some to Bruno Fernandes, and he's already started both domestic and Champions League matches for Salzburg, though injuries have stalled Kamari's progress in recent months. Regarding the 18-year-old, he's already caught the eye of new Austrian manager Ralf Rangnick, and a first international call-up is now almost inevitable in the coming months. So there we have it, guys. That's the end of part 1. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Tune in on Thursday to see number 1 to number 25. This was 26 to 50. I hope you enjoyed this video. Get involved in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to be in the top 25, and you'll find out on Thursday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.